Okay, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Ron. I'm here from Melanated Council. Let me get that banner up for you guys. Bam! Right there. Boom. Coming to you guys live on another fantastic Tuesday night. Typically, we go live Tuesdays 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then wherever else you're in the world, that's where you can find us. Again, if you like the content, if you like what we're talking about, if you like, just hanging out with us and having a good time and kick back and relaxing, please, please, please don't forget to like, subscribe, enjoy the show. And even for our people on Twitch. Yes, on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, again, just be sure to drop that follow and everything else. And then just kick back, relax, and have a good time. Let your hair down. It's a Tuesday. For some people, we're the best part of the Tuesday. And yes, part of my head is cut off, but oh well. I don't have my green screen or my blue screen with me. So, you know. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Rocky? What's happening? I know. Sweet, just like Double Dutch, jumping in right on time. Let's go. How you doing, Chad? How's it going? All right, you guys. So gotta tell my brain to pause, stop, rewind, stop, play. Okay. I gotta do that for myself. My brain goes like 1,000 miles an hour. Okay, so again, Tuesday, we are doing mental health check-ins, just check-ins in general. Like, how's everybody's weekend been going? How's everybody's week going so far? We haven't really. I mean, of course, we're active on Discord. Tee hee ha ha, laughing and joking. I know me on my end. My crazy tail's been crazy busy, especially with being a head coach for one of the Rocket football teams. And so this week we are focusing in on conditioning, which has been amazing. As of right now, it's been amazing. Kids are learning the fundamentals. They're having fun with it. They probably have a little aches and pains, but hey, if you haven't played football and not have any aches and pains, come on. Do you know? Do I know what? Do I know what? But like, what's up? Hey, Toby, come on. The seat is waiting for you. It is nice, hot, and ready for you. Just like, the hot and ready pieces from Little Caesars. If you're, in this area where I'm at from. Don't worry, because I'll be grubbing. Little Caesars is that pizza joint. Well, if you're in like the Michigan area, Indiana, Illinois, that area, you know. Ohio, probably outside of that arena, you know. All right. And then, I don't know who you are, but, hey, nice to see you. I don't know what kind of face you're giving me, but hey, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Hopefully, you brought some snacks and some goodies and some other stuff. Hopefully, you brought a conversation, and especially with the topic that we're going to be talking about for tonight. So, yeah, let's see what we got. Boom. Okay. Nice. That's always a good time. Being around family. And sometimes being around family can be a good thing, but it also could be a bad thing depending upon the makeup of your family. So, if it from your point of view, it looks like you had a good time. So kudos. So again, today for me on my end was day 2 of conditioning. And when I tell you I made these kids work, I made them work. I wouldn't be surprised if come tomorrow they may come up to me and say, "Hey, coach, my legs hurt." Like, okay, we're gonna have to stretch your legs out tomorrow because we're gonna have to do some other stuff to get you ready to go and ready to play and whatnot. And so going to be doing that. Today was their first day of wearing the helmets and the mouth guards that they brought them. And if they didn't bring them, no big deal. But even still, a lot of kids said, like, hey, I don't think, my parents can possibly afford me to get a mouth guard. Do you have one? Like, yeah, sure. Huh. Take it. That's yours. And so they're like, okay, cool, great. So we got that going on. And then, of course, a lot of the kids, they probably don't, excuse me, they probably don't have like water bottles. So I know my brother, he's my assistant / volunteer. And so he went out and grabbed, a couple waters for the kids who didn't have none. And so told the kids, like, hey, if you don't have a water, we got some over here, help yourself. So tomorrow, my plan is I got like a big carrier for water bottles. And so I'm gonna fill all those up and then bring them to practice tomorrow. So that way kids will have nice ice cold water. Let's see. I know. True. Let's see. The only person on the football team. Nah, I beg to differ. If you ain't seen Bobby Boucher, I beg to differ. Bobby Boucher, he was in that bad boy. He was the only water boy that suited up. He put a hurting on a lot of people, both on the field and off the field. That man put a hurting on a lot of people. That man, Bobby Boucher, like, you talk about his high quality H2O. You talk about it, you going crack. That's it. That is it. You done for. You are done for. True. Yes. And even there, because today was their first day wearing their helmets and whatnot, I specifically stressed to them, like, hey, get your water, drink you some water, like whatever you got, drink you some water. And even then some of the kids like, hey, can we take a break to get some water? Like, listen, we got to get through these drills. And then once we get through these drills, yes, you can get some water. Like, I get it. It's hot. You're sweaty. And wait a minute. Hold on. I got to put a pause. Okay, so listen, we're going to bring this lovely person to the stage. You know her. I know her. We all know her. We all love her. Give a big round of applause for the homie, girl.
Hey, everybody. Sorry, I'm late.
No, you ain't late. You right on time. The party start when you show up.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm glad that the party starts when I show up and not Toby.
Well, we all know about Toby. That man is fashionably late, meaning that he got to get his whole outfit decked out and ready to go. Because if he ain't looking right, he ain't showing up.
No, true.
That man is not showing up.
But it's good to see him in the comments.
But he did say he's gonna pop in. Yeah, I see him. Saw him lurking in the comments. Let's see. Yeah. He got like 4 or 5 of them body bags. Like, yeah. Talk about Bobby Boucher.
Oh, sorry.
Water boy reference. No, you're good. You're good. So, Elle, how was your week? How was your weekend?
My week and my weekend. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, like on Sunday, I went to brunch with some friends. Trying to like get out and do things a little bit more often. Like, especially with women friends. I don't want to sound like that girl who's like, women are so dramatic. No, it's not that at all. It's just I've always had mostly male friends. And it's fine, but you need women friends. Like, I feel like no matter what your gender is, you need like women friends. But like me specifically, it's just like getting out with women is just nice. And yeah. So like it was nice going to brunch. Yeah. And it was like we went to like this golf course place for a brunch. And it was like is that your cool? I don't. I mean, thank you. I don't think so. Like, I just have like interests that I guess like mainly men have, like video games, anime. Like, even though like not so much anymore. Like, though, for still making prime time as a podcast. Oh, hush.
Come on.
Thank you.
Come on.
I definitely
I'm
wanted
with
to
it.
thank you guys. I forgot to write this in the Discord chat. I meant to do it like all day, but so I saw like the amount of views I got for especially like the social media episode, and I want to thank you guys. I'm pretty sure it was mostly y'all for listening. I had like 8 listens. I was like, that's so cool. It's no longer just like me talking to a void and just like sharing it with just like 1 or 2 friends just to make sure I'm making sense. But because I wanted to, and I think I mentioned this last week, I wanted to wait until I got to like 10 episodes to really start, sharing it out with people because, like, I feel like with our Netflix live where we just kind of want to binge things. And I mean, not like you guys would want to just like binge whatever I'm giving y'all, but since each episode's like a roughly 30 minutes, I figured, to just like, hey, I started this podcast, share it with everyone blah, blah. It's only 1 episode. And then it's sort of, I feel like it'd be like a little bit like lackluster and anticlimactic.
Mm-hmm.
And also just like finding the time to create the episodes and figuring out like, like my editing style or like, my own style and editing and everything. So it just comes with practice and time. So I'm still trying to figure out like when to release episodes and like mostly how often, just to like how many episodes to create. Like, so what I want to do is like create like, I guess what they consider like banking, where you create a bunch of episodes and then edit them, and then I think you can actually schedule their release, or you just release them one by one, so like you're ahead, so you can kind of take a break or something and things like that. So I just want to get into the habit of that, but I still haven't quite gotten to the habit of that yet. It's hard, but it's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. Each time when I go to record an episode, I'm scared, so I know I'm doing the right thing. But yeah,
Right,
no, thank you all for listening.
Oh,
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Ryan?
No, I was saying that I think you are on the right track. You're on the right path. You do what you do best. Speak your mind.
Oh, that's a cool thing to. I like, funny enough, like I do feel like that's, in a way, I wouldn't really call it like my calling, but it's more so like it's definitely something that, I've always wanted to do for like years, was start a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But
go for it.
We aren't. Well, I am not the only lovely person who deserves a lovely introduction to our stream.
Come on.
We wouldn't be the Melanated Council without this third person. Even though the party starts with me, it definitely ends with Toby here.
Yes.
I don't know if I can agree fully with that one, but actually, I really appreciate the shout out.
You are.
And sorry for the extra lateness.
Oh no, it's
honestly, this is like the energy I needed, because I had like 0 energy before coming on here, and here I am, just seeing you guys, and I already feel perked up, and I really do mean that. So, love y'all. Glad to be here, and same thing with all of y'all, chat. Y'all gonna pull me through tonight.
And look at us. We're all wearing white. It's a white party here.
Yes.
Hey,
white party
it's a white party.
Black Stram.
It's a white.
Yeah.
Wait, what was that you're saying?
Oh, we're all wearing white.
Oh yeah. No,
yeah. Come on.
I thought that was a civic song that you were humming there, but yeah. Let me turn this down.
We're just making it up. Or maybe, I don't know. I've never heard the song.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yes.
I never
It's an
heard the song
all-white
either. I just made
party.
it up. Don't look it up,
All-white
Toby.
party
Don't
for
look
no
it up,
special
Toby.
reason.
Right? Yeah, it is a special reason. It's a Tuesday night. You gotta get no more fancy than that.
The stream is going
Come
up
on.
on a Tuesday.
I mean, boom, right here. You looking at him. You looking at him.
Mhm.
If put up Chaz comment. I love it. I love it. I love it.
White party, black bodies. Let's go.
Party block.
I love it. I love my Tuesdays. I don't care what anybody has to say. My Tuesdays is not complete. Yeah, come on. Listen.
Ron Diddy.
Listen. True story. True story. So the missus, she messed around and was looking at me, looking at Diddy, looked at me, looked at Diddy. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna need some explanation because you guys are eerily similar, especially like the older you get, the more you tend to look like him. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. So she had the nerve to take one of his pictures that he was sitting down in the interview, and she found a picture of me sitting down while we're at the Dominican Republic, and she made a side by side like collage, and she showed it to me. She says, I'm gonna need somebody on your mama's side of the family to do some explaining because this ain't it right here. I got the looking, and I'm like, well, you know, there could be a possibility like somewhere down the line ish. It might be a stretch, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
She said, seriously, because I'm gonna need your grandmother, and she's like, well, your grandfather on your mom's side, I know he's gone, but because your grandmother's still alive, we need to have a talk with her. I'm like, okay, like, I'm cool with that. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see it though.
Like,
I never thought of that.
Man, I never. We all have those twin like people who I don't even know that well, who people keep like referring me to. I wish I could remember right now, but like, it's just like, really, do I look like this person? Like, I don't know if I actually do, or if people are just saying things just to say it.
Oh yeah,
but, like,
no.
I get that. I get that. Like, when people be like, "Yo, you got a resemblance," so eventually you just have to lean into it a little bit.
I mean, who I was always told I looked like it stopped, recently, maybe because I changed up my glasses, but for years people would say I look like a young Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh wow!
And it's not like
okay,
it's not like it's not like she's ugly. Like she's a good looking lady. It's just like like if you want to look like someone, you want to look like somebody hot though, like Megan Good, or I mean, she's my birthday twin. Okay, let me just have that. Okay, let me just have that. Okay.
okay, you get it. You can have that. Megan Good is your birthday twin, and that's your looking like for your birthday. Go for it.
Yes.
If anybody says anything different, you can punch them in the forehead and say unity.
I remember I was at an open mic years ago. Like, I didn't perform; I was just there, like in the audience. Mm-hmm. And like this one guy came up, on stage and was telling jokes or whatever, and he said that I look like Pam Grier mixed with Whoopi Goldberg. And I was like, okay. And I actually looked up pictures of Pam Grier, and there was like, I could see where he was going. With both. I was like, okay, I see. I feel like, especially like a young Pam Grier, she was like Foxy Brown, right?
I think so.
Yeah, she kind of had like more of like a round face, which I sort of have, at least like definitely when I was like a couple years ago. Maybe my face is getting a little bit more long the older I get. Hey, Mish.
Hey, Mish.
No one's weak to say I look like someone that I should have joined the CIA.
Right. And to Barack's comment, I'm gonna have to say, sir, I cannot confirm nor deny if that's actually a true statement at this current time. However, what I can confirm, what I can deny is the fact that it was an outside job. There you have it.
So you can confirm and deny it?
Yep. I
Okay.
can't confirm and deny it. It was an outside job. Gee.
Must mean I have a forgettable face. Oh. I mean, when Rocky came on the stream, like, he looked a smidge like this guy I dated for a while. And I was just like,
Uh-oh.
I was like,
Oops.
for like a second. For what it's worth, Rocky looked better than the guy I dated. So,
There you
go. No, just kidding.
You said you came back for the tea, Toby?
Yeah, no, I actually just literally came back. Like, I had to look for something, and I just found it. So we're good in terms of my technology.
Okay.
Making sure everything is set up well and good. But sorry, keep going with your story. And how you actually, you know, Mans look like this guy, but Rocky beat him out, which is great. Imagine if he didn't, and you said that live on the stream. That would be very, very unfortunate, Rocky.
Ouch. Toby, you pulling all the punches.
I mean, I'm just saying it would have been unfortunate if that's. Hey, it's me.
I mean, how you think like half the people confirm with Chameleon? Maybe, but then again, maybe not. It might be a butterfly. You never know. I don't know. There's so many ways I can do this. Oh my goodness. But no, seriously, like years ago, I watched a documentary about like what happened with the whole Tupac thing, and coincidentally, a lot of people are saying that it was literally an outside job, like somebody from, how do they put it? Somebody that was an agent actually did it due to the fact that Tupac at his prime had a huge influence over the listeners from his of his music. And so that way it was like, okay, we understand that, of course, yes, him, Biggie, and Diddy, they all have a beef and whatnot. But at the same time, like, let's draw the attention away from us who actually did it and pin it on the fact that it was an outside job. And especially with pinning on the driver of the car that got him set up. And even still, when they did the autopsy and everything else, it was like, okay, it doesn't make sense because the way how supposedly he got shot, it doesn't match with what happened at the scene of the supposedly scene of the crime. And so it was like a whole thing of, okay, so obviously, of course, we know there's some foul play, and obviously it deserves another dive into to see what actually happened and who's covering up the real truth behind the shooting of Tupac. So if anybody wants to, I guess, look up that documentary and watch it for yourself, it's a really cool documentary. And even then I'm like, holy crap, like, okay, That makes sense. That makes sense.
That's good.
Rocky upgrade.
Okay. There you go. But yeah, I'll end my rant. I'll let somebody else, take over, take control, if they so choose to do so.
Well, I don't know. I feel like there's a flow going. I don't want to just jump.
No, go for it.
No.
Like, I was just gonna
Yeah.
continue just talking about brunch and I don't know, hanging out with women.
And talk about like as in terms of what you just were doing, or like as a concept.
Oh no, like just like what I was talking about, like my weekend and stuff.
Yeah. No, like, definitely keep going with that. I'll chime in at the end of it. I think I just lost track for a second where things were because there was a little back and forth. So I was like, wait, where exactly were we? I don't want to like completely sidetrack or let you guys finish.
No, it's fine.
No.
Yeah, because So yeah, we went to like this golf course for brunch. It was like an all you can eat. Like we didn't know that until like we went there, and it was mainly just like it was like like there was like wasn't that many people, which was odd. But there was like a few women, like I said, more so women than men there, and this one like server or lady who worked there like came up to us and like just was like, hey, how are you guys enjoying the food, blah blah blah, this and that. And then she goes, yeah, there's like no single guys here. And I was like, I don't know if we were just that loud talking about dating but it was just like, okay. And I remember overhearing like the girls sitting next to us, like in a different table, it was like two women that were probably like my age, and then I think somebody's mom. And one of the girls was talking about how pretty much what we were talking about, us girls, about I guess like women nowadays are just kind of starting to realize like this, like there's, I feel like there's an imbalance in dating and relationships where the woman is sort of expected to kind of like cook, clean, take care of the kids, and work a full-time job, and the man is just kind of supposed to just work. Of course, like that's not the case in every relationship, but that's where my TikTok has been lately. And I guess it's been a common thing. But yeah, I've definitely seen that like in my parents, where like my dad barely did anything. He would like occasionally fix our cars if something was going on with our cars, but sometimes that would take a long time to like get him to do anyway, unless like the car just did not work. And that was kind of the most he would contribute to the house. Like he would like occasionally clean things, but mainly he would just kind of come home. Sometimes he'd come home late and just like sleep, and that was pretty much that. I know I don't speak about my dad often because I remember there was even like a Father's Day episode, and I was like, "Shit, this was a bad idea. Why did I even suggest this?" So I was like, "Oh, great. Let me talk about the fathers that I do know that are fantastic fathers, because I can't talk about my own."
Oh yeah.
But apparently that seems to be like a common thing in some relationships, and it's like, and I guess women are just, I guess, tired of it. So like it was just funny how this group of women that was just totally random were talking about essentially the same thing from what I was overhearing. So I was like, either we're all on the same TikTok, or they're all seeing the same shit, or I don't know, something's in the water. I think everyone who has been feeling kind of like oppressed and repressed are hopefully starting to talk, I even saw on Twitter today about if you ever heard of like the orgasm gap, and we'll probably talk about, you know, sex, dating, and relationships in like a future month topic. I hope. And it's like next month we're talking about this. No, I control the podcast. Like no. But yeah, there's like the orgasm gap where actually I have it 39% of straight women compared to 95% of straight men orgasm during sex. That's a 52% gap, which is fucking abysmal. But I mean, if any of you have ever had sex with a man, which I think is none of you, actually, then yeah, it gets selfish, and I'll probably talk about, you know, my experiences or experiences that I've heard, you know, on a later live stream. But yeah, just wanted to bring that up.
Oh boy! Everybody, bring your raincoats. Don't get wet.
Get your boots and your coats for this. You know.
Oh man.
No, I've definitely heard of like men complaining about women who don't really who don't pick up after themselves or are just like act like princesses. I've definitely heard that too. Like one of my friends' husband's brother, who I know, is supposedly in a marriage like that, which is, you know, like apparently there was a lot of hesitation from his side of the family about him marrying her. But so I know it's definitely not like, you know, like, of course, like there's gonna be shitty people in every single, you know, group. You know, like it's true. But the orgasm gap, though, you can't. That's a whole other thing. And they say that like lesbians orgasm, like pretty much the gap in orgasms between straight men and well, where did she say like lesbians? I guess orgasm during sex around the same amount as straight men. She said that. I retweeted the thread. So if you guys follow my Twitter, you want to check that out. I would have started to have a secret of the line for better dick. ABD.
Oh man.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's true. I mean, it's not like. I mean, for me, it'd be the Alliance for Better Tongue. But anyways, Toby, how was your weekend?
Oh, wow. Okay, L. Cutthroat.
My weekend sounds like a communication issue. Wow, there definitely was some, you know, there's definitely something missing.
Cunning linguists.
There's definitely some tongue communication that could have been better, Rocky. Yes.
It sounds like you got a little tongue-tied there.
Yeah, I got a little. I mean, I could have said I was trying to like find another way, but I was like, you know what, I'll just go with it. Yeah, a little tongue-tied, but it's okay. You know, we do what we need to do. And I'm not going to claim these problems because I just be on point when I need to be. But my weekend, as for my weekend, what did I do this weekend?
Hold up.
I don't remember, to be honest. See, I already lost my. The weekend was just a few days ago. What the heck is happening? I didn't go to any concerts. I didn't even really go out. And that's not true. Oh, I went to this thing called Franco Fest. That was cool. It was like a French cultural festival, like mostly African, but it's a radical spin-off group. Chad's not with it. Oh god, this is like history. Like we have to document this history right now. Like when you see those pages, when it's like, how did this group start? What splintered? What action started? This is happening in real time. So someone please document this.
It's like they didn't even start, and there's already beef. Like, there's already infighting. The group that doesn't
Already in.
Man, yeah. This French festival, like mostly like French African, but also some Caribbeans. Like there are definitely Haitians. There might have even been people from some of the other French islands, but it was mostly definitely like a lot of French African countries. Congo was real. There were a lot of Congolese people. There are definitely Cameroonians. Probably other countries that I honestly couldn't pinpoint. And then even other people like Kenyans. Obviously, I was there. And Nigeria is not a French-speaking country. It was colonized by Great Britain. But I still went because I knew the organizers and I knew it would be like a lot of African culture. And I bought some nice food, Nigerian food and Haitian food. That there was the two vendors who were selling at pretty decent prices, no tax, which is great. So that was cool. I think Friday I just stayed in, gave myself a break before the calm before the storm. And then Sunday I did something. I feel like I ended up staying in, but I went to this beach day. There was like a beach day for the Boston Black professionals. Of course, the Mutual Climax. Look at this. This is amazing. This is the what is it?
Yes.
You talk about the meme economy.
Round of applause.
The mutual. I don't even know what M word you would use, but you have this economy, the Mutual Climax economy, sure. To relate it to economics. So you give and you take, you trade services. Yes.
Yeah. Elle woke up, chose violence on this day, on this Tuesday specifically. She chose violence. She chose violence on this Tuesday, and we welcome all the smoke. Go for it. I took my batteries out for a reason. I don't want no smoke alarms. Oh man. Whoo. This is going to be a Tuesday night for sure. If y'all ain't, if anybody else ain't here, we're gonna watch this live. They missing out.
Hit me up. I'll be one of the founding members of ABD. Hit me up if. Rocky. Hit me up if your mans are side ninjas and delivering.
What? Toby, what? Hold on, wait a minute, sir. I'm about to pause you for like a few seconds because earlier you just said some slickness and you didn't think nobody else caught that. I did. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait, what's that? I forgot. Oh, I think I just said I ain't. That's like this isn't. I said this isn't the problem for me. Loving proper pipe since 2022. Laying proper pipe. Yo, this is like. Hold on. When did Mario start? But I was going to say this would be perfect for like a 25th or 30th anniversary. Probably started in '86. So maybe Mario? The 40th anniversary. Laying proper pipe since.
Oh, like Mario Bros.
Yeah. Because as soon as I saw proper pipe, I was like, this has to be like a Mario. I have to make like a Mario pun when it actually becomes the next anniversary.
Oh my god! No, we ain't talking about that kind of pipe.
Yeah, smoke. We've got all kinds of. We're quick to scratch rewind that back real quick. We're not gonna speed past that. Like you didn't just say what you just said. In the words of Kevin Hart.
Right.
Okay, we will jump forward to that on another stream, but we'll just keep all these breadcrumbs. There's a lot to be said. Honestly, I was gonna keep it as wholesome as possible when we end up talking about all things sexual and health, but listen, we start the stream at 9 p.m., which is dangerously close to demon time. So whatever happens, happens, and I cannot be responsible for the direction that these conversations go. There's a reason Peach stays with that short key. Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
hello.
Hello.
Hey, Speedy.
Hello.
Oh man, Yes. Oh, you've been warned.
Oh,
You've been
Doomer time.
warned.
I'm saying demon time, but Doomer time works because Doomer is that's a very big thing right now. Doomers and doom scrolling. The topic is technically the future of economics and finance, but we're just having some fun right now.
Yes.
We're always having fun.
Yeah, at the beginning of every episode.
I think,
yeah,
go for it, go for it, because you're about to take the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, but at the beginning of every episode of every stream, we like to just chat, hang out, talk about like our weekends, and just kind of get us on a positive note, because life has been shitty. So it's like it's good to just kind of rehash like the good, positive, small wins, and just fun jokes that's been
Yes.
in life, until we get to the topic, because sometimes our topics can be kind of heavy.
I'm very affected by late night depression.
Yes.
Late night depression brings a thing. That was the I feel like that was my energy coming in. Now, like, I'm on good fumes, but I definitely was just like, oof, this is quite a Tuesday night. So the Tuesday. Other nights you end up being on the euphoria, and it's less of a depression brand. But we do what we can to cope. We notice positives as neutral and negatives as bad. That's interesting. Maybe that's why we're like maybe not always as risk averse, because like you see you overplayed the negatives or the risks of a situation, and you don't think about the positives. Like when something happens, we can be very harsh and self-critical because you don't see the good of certain things. I guess because maybe we see it more as neutral, and then when we see the bad, it's like life ending, or at least
yeah. No, I feel that. I feel like the negatives kind of like hit us harder, for sure. Then it's sad like a good thing doesn't hit us as good, like as up as like a negative hits us as down.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is good to also have friends who just sort of like
crazy.
Yeah. Like that's why it's good to have friends who, like when you tell them something and they hype you up and they make you feel good, because I've been noticing it's very easy and common to find friends or people who sort of downplay your achievements or try to like knock you down a peg. I'm trying to get my quotations and knock you down a peg. And and those people aren't good in your life. Yeah. But yeah.
No, seriously, because like, what was that one quote that was like the only time you should be looking down on someone is if you're like helping them up, lifting them up. So having friends like that where they actually can help you up through those. Explaining this. Someone walks in on you watching this stream and you're just like, I thought this was about economics, I swear. This was just like
See, what had happened was
it's like when Chad shared that YouTube video of like when you're watching an anime show that's like, well, she's actually a 4,000-year-old woman trapped in like a 14-year-old body, so it's not that weird that this professor is like dating her.
Like, even though she's technically like negative 10 years old, but she's really like 10,000. Yeah, that video was a lot. That video was
so funny. It's like, no, it's really fucking bad.
Oh man,
it's very concerning.
That'd be true too.
I know.
That'd be true.
Just pushing everyone down. Yeah.
No, I agree for sure. Like you really don't have to push. Like you really don't have to like make people feel bad in order to make you feel good. Like. Yeah, like I learned that it's not that there's only one spot at like the top or at the top of the mountains. That we all have our own mountains to climb, and we all need to get to the top, or I get as high up in our own personal mountains, right? Because there's space, there's space for everybody to be uplifted.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can win. Everyone can eat. What was the thing I saw that was like, we can shine. Everyone can shine. I think it was when I was watching All American and Homecoming. There was like something like, we can all like have room to succeed. Like like me shining doesn't put out the light of anyone else, or it might even be somewhere else where it was saying that like me like succeeding doesn't like hide everyone else succeeding. Like it should be a light, kind of an inspiration for everyone, not like shining. I think because there are maybe people who are like jealous of like certain like, oh, you're trying to be better than everyone. It's like, no, like I'm trying to give motivation and push other people. It should never be the case where like I'm succeeding at the detriment, I guess, of other people. Try and look at this.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with our bot.
Oh, it might have been a long. I don't know if it's because of a long comment. There was a point where people, Mish, even who is our moderator, where even Mish would get a message that's like, keep your things under like a certain amount of characters. But I didn't see that thing. Usually, I see the
yeah
say that, and I haven't seen that in a very long time, like months actually.
right.
Yeah.
No, sorry about that. Is there any way to like turn off that bot? Because I think it's like kind of...
I think so.
Okay, so
I think so. Let me. You guys go ahead. All right, Speedy. Don't worry. I will whip our bot into action. So, Toby and Elle, go ahead and take it away. I am going to back out. Well, not back out. I'm gonna be working.
Doing stuff in the back office. I got you. So, I mean, I guess I could say like for this topic, financial and economic, not literacy, but financial and economics. The future of financial systems and economics. We kind of came about it. I think as just a general thing, we all independently sort of thought of it. And we were like, it would be really cool if when we're talking about the future, we look about money. I mean, we all interact with money and finances, and given where things are in society, there's the obvious with cryptocurrency, but like in general, what's going to kind of be, what are these systems going to look like? Like we talked about the future of, politics, and of course, economics and politics definitely go very well together. We also were talking about school, and that's also very big, like the future of school. And I mean, literally people go to school to be part of sort of the system, right? And schools in themselves are also part, especially when you get to like universities, they are basically businesses. And so talking about the future of economics is kind of a logical next step. Like, what will that look like? What are people's ideas on what that looks like? Even like not just 10, 20 years, but in today, like what has kind of been happening that has been like a progression of, our economic systems, especially in the age of COVID. Like, what have we seen that's changed in financial systems and economics? And so, I mean, there's like a lot of random things you can kind of go on with it. But I think one interesting thing is like the idea of a cashless society. I mean, you already have like checks, credit, all these things. But with COVID, cash really became a thing that people didn't want to carry. And I saw a lot of people who were accepting things more readily. I mean, QR codes, which were kind of a thing, became very much a thing, which is really great. Like, I think it was nice to be able to pay for things in a way where you don't have your physical, you don't have to deal with cash as much, which can be inconvenient or even a security risk for some people. So that's like one thing I've noticed for sure is that transition. And then don't even get me started about like currencies, not even cryptocurrencies, but like US government and other country government sanctioned digital currencies, which I've seen in different countries, including your very own Jamaica, that just basically, I think, became one of the first countries in the world to either start accepting Bitcoin as legal tender, or they were creating their own digital currency, kind of like the way you have those stable coins. And so that was just kind of like, I saw it randomly. It wasn't even like really the big news. I was looking at Jamaica's Independence Day, and then I happened at one point when I was looking at news articles, and like I was trying to get an image, and then when I was doing on the image search, one of the pictures said something about Jamaica becoming the first country to do this, and I was like, how is this like nestled and buried? Like this is pretty freaking big news. But let me go look at Speedy's comments here. Let's see, living up to the name.
No, like we're able to see the message, Speedy. Yeah, we're trying to fix that bot because I agree with you. Like it, because like on YouTube, I feel like YouTuber comments can be really long, so I don't see why Twitch comments can't.
Yeah. Even Amara, right? She was having some problem with the YouTube comments. Well, I don't know if she had a problem. Maybe it was just so long that she couldn't send it. But I didn't know that there were those long limits for YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube has a character limit, but like I don't know if Twitch does, but sometimes like people will just write like 3 lines of text, and then Twitch would like freak out. It's like, dude, that's not even a lot. Like,
so. This is the one. I'm guessing this is the one that you sent that you were asking if this is the one that ate your message, because we definitely see this one.
Yeah.
So for those of you guys who are actually in the Twitch chat, I can actually. Oh, okay. So I do have the Twitch chat here, and I am seeing some stuff that says message deleted. That is really strange.
Yeah, I think we probably have like some. I don't know, just some kind of bot.
Oh yeah. So
like
if you're actually watching
stream or something.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's even like because I don't even know if that's just our bot that's doing that, because usually our bots are always like responsive when something happens, right? So I'm wondering if this is some internal Twitch thing that like eats, like is doing its own pre-filtering. Though it's weird that it would get like sent to here, right? Like I don't know how that would like happen where it gets generated, it kind of gets sent to a system like StreamYard, but then not internally, but on Twitch's own interface, somehow it's gone. That would be very strange. Obviously we see it here, so it's like something like that is happening, but I don't know where exactly the data got eaten, where it was generated, when it got stopped. Like, yeah, like if you had like another API that was just happening to read from the comments, would we be able to like see that in an output, and we wouldn't see it in the Twitch app, which is strange. But yeah, I mean, I agree generally here. Like jealousy, it's like a very kind of human emotion. Like we can feel it. It's just like kind of good to like recognize it and then choose to be happy anyway for the person, even if it's like maybe someone got something you wanted, like a position on a team, but they're your bro, they're your sis, they're your person, so you support them. Like sometimes that jealousy is hard to fight, but like when it's so petty and vindictive, that's where it's just like it can be really ugly and just like doesn't help anybody.
You know, there was I think it was E-Trade or something like that. There was a commercial which I thought was so brilliant because it was so true and so funny. It would go like, you know, you'd be like, I don't know, at like a friend's place or like, you know, hanging out with family or something. And they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, you love your new brother-in-law, Chad, but you'd like him more if he made less money than you. And yeah. And it was like, I thought that was such brilliant marketing because it was so cutthroat and also pretty true, because it cut into, I feel like it cut into people in a way that it's like, it's just something that you're a little bit ashamed to admit. And yeah, like we should be happy for people. We can't deny the fact that, you know, like there might be some kind of like rivalry or jealousy, even though like we shouldn't feel that way. It's just you know, the society that we live in. Absolutely, Chad, keeping up with the Joneses energies. So it's like, oh, you know, like you're happy that your brother-in-law got the promotion and bought that new car, but you like him more if you made more money than him. It's funny. It's sadly true. But yeah, absolutely, keeping up with the Joneses energy, which doesn't benefit anybody. But I don't know. Like, I sort of wanted to tie this back to, like, I guess, like, the future, like, where economics is really going to go. Like, when you said that we were going to be like a cashless society, I was thinking like super futuristic, like Star Trek and like the Orville, where, like, they don't have a currency. Like, there's just no money. Like, and that people just sort of do like what they love, because there are people who just love farming and love, being like, like a doctor or something. And, and if there was like no price behind doing that, like, and like, I guess in a way, if everything was free, I don't really know how exactly it would work. I think it could work. I feel as though like a universal basic income was sort of gearing towards that in a way, where you just have value, you just have money. It may not be like, so you can always kind of get things. So like, I guess like the value of things would sort of, in a way, like stabilize or become kind of, I don't want to say meaningless. I don't know. Like I don't know. I think it would be cool if we lived in a society where, we weren't just living to work, but I don't know. I feel like the actuality of where we're heading to in the future is going to be more so like crypto based and like digital currency, because going towards a cashless society is very capitalist, because you need a bank to get a credit card. I mean, yeah, I think a credit card, but like, a debit card and everything too. And if everything's like online and digital, then like somebody who is like, let's say homeless or keeps maxing out their credit cards and, keeps defaulting, and then they don't have like a bank or anything to like kind of store their money, then they can't really participate in certain things if everything's going to be cashless. For example, there are like a couple of food hall, like cafeteria sort of things in South Florida that have been opening up. Like, it's like a big building, and it's like a big building, and like there's like little stores that are all restaurants. It's kind of like a mall, but just restaurants. Like, it's like a food court. Yeah, it's like a food court. And you can go to like each little stand or little tiny miniature restaurant and order stuff. But you can't use cash. Like, cash isn't allowed. So you have to pay through card. So that like that takes away some of the population, for example, like people who don't have a bank account, people who mainly get paid through cash, like strippers or sex workers and things like that. So they can't participate in this level of the economy. So that might be, like, I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit classist. However, I do think that's just where the future is going to go. But then again, like, like with crypto, if I'm understanding it correctly, there are like a lot of people like who are homeless, who have cell phones, and essentially like you yourself are like your own bank. So instead of me having to go to like TD Bank and put my money there in order to get a card so I can swipe it in places, my own phone will be my bank, and I can just use the money I get from like crypto into, like to pay at stores and things. But yeah, cashless society versus not capitalist society are two very different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if people produce stuff out of necessity for the group versus very different. Yeah.
Yeah, collectivism versus individualism type thing, which is kind of interesting, because like the idea is we do have to produce, like a lot of the stuff we're doing is for society, where it's like you're if you're an Amazon worker, I mean, yeah, you're making money for yourself, but then you're producing services that other people need. Versus you just do a service just solely for yourself or to get money for yourself. I'm just going through some of these comment chains. One, because I think some of them got eaten on Twitch, but also work will just turn to ATMs outside of strip clubs, get cash, give to. What's going on here? Oh, it's it's actually freaking wow. This thing is hardcore. Like the word stripper, and sex, we're getting what's the word? We're getting censored. When I was just looking at the stream here, the Twitch stream here on my phone, so I was like, asterisk work will just turn into this, give to asterisk deposit. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting thing. Like, this is also different because I've never been in the industry where it's like that. Like even like working in like not even fast food, but like like restaurants, people are used to getting cash tips to some degree. And then you have like even people in hospitality, like there's bellhops and other people who like I didn't realize this till I was like much older, like college age. But like yeah, those are things where you should tip, like bellhops and others. But I think I've been so far removed from that, I don't even think about that. And actually, there is an interesting thing. It's a little controversial, but when it comes to the new, the legislation, I guess Biden might have just signed it, but the big like Inflation Reduction Act, there's a part of it with IRS enforcement, and I know that one's been controversial because. I mean, of course, you have people who are very anti-tax, taxation is theft, who of course are not going to be with it. But then even other people are saying that this might actually not impact the wealthy like you think it's going to impact them, but rather this money might end up going towards more working class, low class people, including people who are in the cashless society who aren't reporting, like the waitresses, right, who already are not making huge amounts of money. And then there's other industries too where they're getting a lot of tips. Tips that aren't through like an app, right? Because if you're like DoorDash or Uber Eats, that probably, in theory, could get taxed because it's already tracked in the app. But if you're getting really under the table type work, then it's like, is the IRS really going to go ahead and go after people? Like, it's that's a thing too, is tax and like enforcement. But not to get too much on that point, in that tangent. Let me see. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you from doing this one. This one, this is technically there's chai tea here. I get this from work, so there's like, what do you call it? Coffee. I mean, there's like food you can get for work for free, but there's also like a coffee express. We call it the Perk Express. Basically, it's like a Starbucks. So this is not coffee. This is mostly it's herbal tea. Usually it would just be mint, maybe ginger peach, which does have a little black tea in it, but it's like very little caffeine. Like there's levels to it. And so usually I would get like either the hibiscus, the chamomile, the mint, which are all herbal, so there's no caffeine. The ginger peach is not a lot of caffeine, so that really doesn't do anything. Chai is like 2 levels, so that one is a little bit more, but this is mixed mint with chai. So I just make it a point to always go, even though it's like obviously hot. It's been getting cooler now, like in the 50s at night. It just very recently started getting to like high 50s at night. But if it was just a few weeks ago, it would still be in the 70s and 80s at night. One time, I'm pretty sure it was like easily almost 90 at night when we had our really bad heat wave a month ago. So we only just recently started to cool off. But even when it was that hot, I would still typically get the tea because of just the benefits. So this would be very excessive. Like, sorry, as much as I love you all on the stream, I would not be drinking coffee at 10 p.m. just so that I can kind of stay with the shenanigans. Yeah, and crypto, I've had mixed opinions on it. I still own a bunch, but like the one thing I'll say, and this is kind of going to you, I mean, maybe a little I wouldn't say it's a rebuttal to you personally, Al, but the way that like we want to use crypto as a sort of democratization for people who are maybe not banked or getting screwed over by the banking systems, by international money systems, people who want to transfer money with horrific fees on like Western Union. Crypto does have some purpose, but then like you have to have the infrastructure to participate. Even if you do have a phone, you're relying on the big exchanges like Coinbase and the others. And those can get hacked. I mean, Kraken, which one is the one that like really got shut? Like with basically like the people lost like almost all their money. It might have been, if not Kraken, it might have been Celsius. No, I think Celsius was a big one. Which I actually wanted to look into because I heard you can use credit cards on Celsius to buy crypto, which meant, you know, you can actually take more risk and not have to use your cash. So I was interested in looking at it, but apparently Celsius had a big like breach or some issue happened. So if you rely on these exchanges, you know, you could lose a lot of money, even though you have some insurance on it. There's a lot of not insurance. And then otherwise, to really be a part of the network, you would need the equipment, right? Like the actual the rigs, the GPUs that let you be like a node in the network. So with the crypto, everyone's out here solving these really hard problems, trying to mine. And I feel like if you truly want to be in the decentralized network and not rely on an exchange, you would need that equipment that essentially lets you mine blocks. And that's not always feasible for everybody. But I still want to believe in crypto, and I still own, and I've even bought as recent as like probably today or yesterday, just to kind of keep on my averages. But like, I don't know, it can be a bit much sometimes. It could be a little bit like a little, what's the word? I can be a little like not depressing, but like pessimistic. I can be a little pessimistic on it. But yes, horny hormone's gonna horn. To Speedy, to Chad. Yeah, I know people have their opinions on the Fed. Like, I'm not like super anti. I hate the Fed. They're these evil, you know, demon, Satan, whatever. I, yeah, we are. Unfortunately, I feel like all of our systems are definitely flawed. When it comes to like, you know, there's like either powerful consolidation among the billionaires, or you have these like the Fed, where you hope that they're acting in the best interest, but they've admitted like straight out that they basically need to like low key tank the economy for the inflation to stop. And I get it's a delicate balance, but it's also like there's people's actual livelihood on the line. So let's be careful what decisions we make, because rate hikes won't fix everything. They're not going to fix a lot of the issues that have been much more global outside of just the U.S. With like supply chains and the demand supply imbalances, where there was no demand during COVID, and now all of a sudden there's a ton of demand, which is why like car prices have skyrocketed and everything. And rate hikes aren't going to fix that exactly. I mean, it'll force people to stop spending as much, but you're going to basically do that by cratering the economy. Let me not get on that rant. Like, I'm not really anti-Fed, but I'm definitely not pro let's hike as much as we can to like force a recession so that people stop working and get screwed over. But at the same time, I'm not an economist, so let me look at all these. Red Sox, the baseball team. That's exactly what's being filtered, I'm sure. Pays employees in McDonald's coin. It's crushed McDonald's coin. Yo. Yeah, it'll be a hot mess, I think, if you had like that's the thing about all these distributed currencies. I mean, there definitely is like severe gamification and like pump and dumping that can happen. And like, do I trust you to like be good with your coin? Like Libra, that project that almost happened with Facebook. Do I trust Facebook of all people who sell our data? I mean, we knowingly give them our data, but then there were breaches that show that they're selling it more than they told us they were selling it. So I don't know if Facebook and these other companies are the best arbiters of like fairness, and if they should get their own coin and we should trust these coins. I mean, McDonald's obviously is not like a social media company, but it's just how there are these big conglomerates that could have coins, and then we have to rely on these big conglomerates to get cryptos, which is kind of the whole point of why cryptos were supposed to be a thing, to get away from those big institutions. Tipping should only exist if you're in a rich setting where you'd get tipped a lot. Yeah, like if you're in like a luxury resort or something where people are already shelling out money, that makes sense, right? Where you kind of can have more of a tipping economy versus like people who are already stretched or trying to go out or get DoorDash or whatever, because we maybe can't go out as much. And now we're like paying out the wazoo an extra tip on like food delivery, or even when you do pickup, people encourage that you should tip the restaurant people because they can't, of course, do the traditional service, which I understand. I'm not waging a war on the restaurant workers, but it kind of sucks that the burden ends up falling on us, that we like have to like sustain their lives, even though we're also struggling in COVID. There's tax change. Thank you, Rocky. Yeah, I remember seeing that. There's something with the private equity and a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, like, I think it's a net positive. I'm glad that progress is being made on some fronts. Like, I definitely will lean more towards those priorities when it comes to the Dems, when it comes to like pro climate, whatever, like just things that are improving society. Like, let's look towards the future and let's spend money. I'm not afraid, but let's do it smartly and go after the right people. Yeah. See, I'm still going through the chat. So you actually kind of beat me to the punch, Speedy, with this. Why am I the one that has to like sustain these people? Like, I can do it just to say like you were good and I want to show you my appreciation, but like I have to do it because you're gonna starve otherwise. Not ideal. Cool Center's environmental bill. Oh god. And Larry Summers apparently also had a really big role in this bill. Don't know a ton about him personally, but he's not really a well-liked figure in any kind of left-leaning economic discussion. So, the wolves guard the sheep. Oh, the wolves guard. That reminds me of that, like, but I never thought that leopards would eat my face. That's usually used in slightly different contexts, but I still feel.
I love that subreddit. Leopards ate my face.
Oh, that's a subreddit. Oh my god, I have to go look at it.
Yeah, when people are like part of like the leopard eat people's faces, like political party was like, I never thought a leopard would eat my face. Like,
that's funny. Always hodl. Well, I'm not even gonna go into how upset I am about how much a currency I held spiked recently, almost to the point where I was at an average, and I sold. I never sell at a loss. I'm usually pretty good at holding long term, even when I'm at a loss. But due to the way things are, and the fact that I wanted more cash on hand, for instance, to buy a car, some investments that I had been holding for months that did not seem like they were ever going to get better, I sold at a pretty significant loss. But I was like, whatever. And then like it didn't quite get all the way up to that amount where I would have made a profit, but it got very close where the loss would have probably been way less. Like, I'm not even gonna say the dollar amount, but like I was not happy when I saw that. Like, good for the people who still held, but screw me. But yeah, always hodl. At least if you're gonna sell, don't sell everything. I would have been in a much better position. I think people are also more on their own, like a lot more independent research, a lot more Wild West type stuff, even when it comes to traditional systems, because you have these apps like Robinhood and everything else, and people were screwed, right? Like last year when the whole thing happened with, GameStop and AMC, and like people tried to sell and they couldn't because there was like not enough liquidity, and the SEC basically stopped trading of certain brokers or certain clearinghouses, and so you have, I think a lot more people are sort of on their own with certain things. Pump and dump. Oh god. We are the ADV, are anti-pump and dump. You must hold. Jesus.
I don't. Okay, I don't know if that would help, but okay.
I mean, it would help them last longer, right? Like that's like a big concern. Is basically the finishing too quick and the woman's not satisfied. So in this case, you must hold your fire.
That's one of the things, but we'll talk about that on a later episode. But
I'm all ears.
Diamond hands, baby.
Yeah, I did not diamond hand, unfortunately. I was weak. I And it's not my first run either. I've been down and still like been able to get back up, but I was really hopeless in that case. I was like, well, we're never getting back up, so let me let me just get these losses and roll them over into a new turn, a new year for tax purposes, which is actually pretty not bad. If crypto mentions moon or up, it's probably a scam.
Yeah, my goodness, like every time it comes to like moon or something like that, it's like, come on. And it's always like the same like fucking story behind like this guy who it's like he's just clearly some guy who's just trying to make a ton of money really quick. Like they all look the same, they all sound the same, they have the same ass fucking story. If it's an investment, it's not currency.
Might be.
Oh,
you got it.
Investment's not currency. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess because I was gonna say even the people who do trading, they don't necessarily they trade what currency pairs like U.S. Euro or U.S. Yuan, and then there's like actual precious metals and like resources like gold, oil, but those aren't currencies either. Diamond hands, baby.
So, do you think that we're going to be more of a like worldwide currency in the future? Because I feel like that's where crypto is trying to go. Or do you think they'll just be like a one world currency? Or do you think that each, like in the future, like maybe far in the future? Because like I feel as though things are, we're gonna go into like the virtual world. So, I have a better question. What is going to be like jobs of the future? Like what's going to be like, because we're getting into, or we already are in like what some people consider like the creator economy, where we're doing essentially what they're doing and creating content, creating videos, but we're not at videos where they're like, oh, buy my merch, check out the link below to purchase something, and then like the content creator gets something in return. Do you think that there's space for everyone to be an entrepreneur, a creator? Or do you think an economy needs to run on people who work for other people?
I mean, the thing is, like, well, not everyone might be willing or built necessarily to have that entrepreneurial mindset. There are people who just like, no, like, let me have a 9 to 5. Let me work for someone. Now, you might not work for necessarily a big corporation. You might work for like a local small down the street business, but you might still need people to fill those roles. I think, like, I'm trying to think of logistically how it will work. Like if you were trying to sell your own something, like you're trying to like be an entrepreneur. And this is something I thought of earlier too, when I think something when you were talking made me think of it and I forgot. But a big thing too is like we might get into a world where we're all selling stuff. So we're kind of like marketing essentially. Like we already recommend people for stuff. We sell ourselves in interviews. So we already are kind of used to being able to like sell. And so like we're all trying to like sell or brand ourselves anyway. And that's like a very real thing. But then when it comes to like manufacturing of stuff or like, I think for some things, yeah, you could like, there are certain services, like let's say you want to like clean, right? People need cleaning and you want to offer yourself, like think Tasker, TaskRabbit type stuff. You could kind of like have those type of services where we all kind of micro sell or even barter if we want to somehow figure out those exchange rates. But I'm not sure if like when it comes to bigger things, like if I decide I need to go buy, I don't know, I guess groceries, you have farms and farmers markets. But what's something where it's like you would need a bigger manufacturing for? Like if I want to buy a car, I mean, someone's probably not producing their own steel and then like their own parts and all these things. So I feel like I'm not sure how entrepreneurial some things that we're so used to relying on these bigger infrastructure for, like how you could produce some of these larger things. Like some small things, you can be very localized. Your food for farmers markets. Um, I don't know. Like I'm trying to think, and I'm kind of blanking. But when it comes to like if I want to buy a phone,
What like a phone is a small thing. Do you mean like, I don't know, Etsy things, like things that you kind of create and sell? Is that another thing that you're
like
considering?
that's like what I could figure. Like if you want like something kind of like something that's like smaller, that's easier to customize, you can kind of have the entrepreneurial spirit and you can really like focus on buying things from local people. But if I need a new phone, I'm gonna have to rely on some bigger company, which inevitably is gonna have that structure that hires people. I don't see it as like I can support my local entrepreneur to like get a phone or a computer or a car or I'm trying to think of like what other big items.
I see what you're saying.
Or even like when it comes to like, I don't know. It's weird because like you could have like, you have plumbers, you have electricians, you have welders, you do have tradespeople who also could be their own entrepreneurs. But then when it comes to the actual creating of these things, like if I was going to have a house and you wanted someone to wire the house and have all the water, that would have to be relied on either by government or by bigger entities. Like who are the big ones who do I know back where I lived in Maryland, we had the Southern Maryland Electric Company. They were the ones who did all of the utilities. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if there's any way to sort of get around that big monopoly structure in some of those cases. But you can definitely rely on like maybe a contractor who can help you fix. And you, of course, had a lot of experience with your contractors where you were getting renovations. And they could very much be their own entrepreneur. But I feel like for building up a lot of these things, you either would need large government public funding or at least large corporate funding. I mean, this is a very good question and a very good conversation, and I could very well not be right, but these are just my thoughts.
Hey, it's not about being right per se. It's just, sometimes you have to like talk your thoughts out, and in order to like get to the point. Remember, my question took like 2 minutes because I was trying to like formulate it.
No, you're good, honestly.
So I'm going to provide basic necessities. People, what's the survival pressures? Yeah, and I feel like that's like what like Yang was pushing for a universal basic income. Like 2019 Yang, because it's true. Like when I was thinking what I could do if I had like a floor to stand on, an economic floor to stand on, like what else I could do. I'm sure I would have started my podcast like sooner. I mean, knowing me, it'd probably been like 6 months sooner, but still that's sooner. and I'd probably like, it would just have like, you would just have like less pressure to feel like you're just totally strapped to your job. Even though I really do love my job, it's like, I don't think there's like a single person who's working who, like, if they won the big fat lottery, they would just continue staying at their job. I would probably honestly, I would probably be like that weird one who would for like a year, because I wouldn't tell a soul. I would have just acted completely the same. If I just had $1 billion, or after taxes, it would have been like 600 million. I would just acted completely the same, did my job, and just tried to figure out like financial advisors and how to deal with this money. But yeah, no, like what Chad was saying, like if we were all to just work for ourselves, I feel like it would be kind of possible to do if we just had like a universal basic income. because I feel like at some point we would all just be giving, if we didn't have a universal basic income and we all just worked for each other, we'd all would be kind of competing with every single market, and we'd all just be kind of like recycling the same money. As it's like, oh, I have to support Toby's Patreon, I have to support Ron's Substack, I have to support Rocky's merch store, I gotta support Chad's toothpaste business, and it would. And like then Chad would be like, oh, I have to support Elle's podcast, I have to support Ron's Substack, I have to support, Toby's thing. And like I feel like the money would all just kind of stay within ourselves. And then like even though I guess like technically we'd probably have different markets, so we'd be getting money from different markets. Because like if Chad had a toothpaste business, I wouldn't be competing with his toothpaste business, So I guess like he would be getting money from a different market of people. But like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that would be possible. I think people would have to essentially work for people in order to, like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm trying to like figure out like I feel like it's like the chicken or the egg situation. It's like something has to start, like there has to be like some money coming in, and then there needs to be like more money, because it can't just be recycling the same amount of money. I don't know. I don't know if I'm even making fucking sense.
No, I think I understand what you're saying, and like this is again where like I'm like, dang, I wish I had a bit more a bit more well versed on money. Excuse me. Because all I had was my economics class. Thank you. And so also let me see if there's any tissue I have here. Of course not. Yeah, that's fine. So I guess like I don't know where that first like jumpstart comes. I mean, right now we're in a society where we already have a lot of money that's floating around. But like, if you did try to like detach, right? How do you sort of like re-inject that money in? That I can't even think about it right now. Because I'm not even sure fully how to answer it, but it makes sense to the question you're asking and why it's important. Now, yes, I saw these comments. I was like, absolutely. I was already waiting to peace out.
I would be thinking that in my head, Rocky. I wouldn't say it out loud. I would be thinking like, oh, this bitch doesn't even know I'm rich.
She doesn't even know.
Yeah, she thinks what she's doing is making me feel some type of, or what he thinks he's doing is making me feel some type of way. It's like, nope. Like what Kanye said is 1,000 U's is only one of me. Toothpaste, what's my other businesses? Bleach paper. I mean, yeah, those are your other businesses, Chad. You are an entrepreneur in this hypothetical scenario. Bleach. But you're also a nonprofit founder of ABD.
Yes. Yeah, so now we're going to be in a new world where we quickly decriminalize, not even decriminalize, we're going to have to completely legalize, tax, and regulate sex. And then
what?
We're going to have to decriminalize, legalize, tax, regulate sex work, sorry.
Oh, okay, that is what she said. Because I was like, hey, decriminal, like, oh, they said tax and then tax. I was like, wait, what? Okay.
Yeah, decriminalize, or I think I had to decriminalize first. I was like, actually, you have to legalize, tax, regulate, or something. And then all but. Sorry, that's ABD is something. That's something else. Something better. Alliance for Better Dick. Then you can effectively have it not just as an advocacy organization, but a direct selling organization where we can actually sell these services and apply hire contractors who can sell their services. They prove themselves. You now know that ABD is legit and they're not like a trash org. They don't have whack dick. They deliver in every type of way, and you can go ahead. And everyone's happy. Good reviews. You know, we got transparency. Can you
I'm
imagine?
not even gonna highlight that comment, Chad.
Can you imagine? What is going on?
No. That's just nasty.
Yo, that's wild. I mean, sperm banks, one thimble, just a thimble. Like, you imagine, like, you could be like, well, I guess you can't have too atrocious of a high tax, like, because if you start doing it by like the micro, that yeah, people would be broke. A thimble, I guess, probably works. No, but also you can actually also just make it like a sperm bank type thing too. Democratize sperm banks because right now you have these like very. I feel like it's only accessible into some states and certain people. Democratize and decentralize sperm banks. There we go. We're doing this.
What?
Yeah.
I like.
I don't know if it's actually a need. I'm just really saying it.
Jeez.
Decentralize it.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like that. I feel like I don't know. I guess you would just do it the old-fashioned way.
What's the old-fashioned way?
Just regular sex if you're trying to have a particular like baby, I guess.
No, we all need our own banks. We all need our own banks. Yeah, it's actually funny how like things devolve back to where they start. It's like, let's go back to bartering. Wait, isn't that how society started? Let's go back to
I'm not highlighting that comment either, Chad.
What is happening right now? Also, I don't know why you said you can't see half of I can check on the.
I feel like maybe because Rocky probably said a curse word in the chat. That's probably maybe YouTube regulated it. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Like,
oh yeah, he did. I'm Rich B. Maybe if you do all live chat instead of top chat. Yeah, you might have to go if you're looking at this on your own YouTube account. And of course, because you're commenting on YouTube chat. If you go to live, the filter option and do live chat instead of top chat, because something happened where B Julia had some comments and they weren't coming through either.
Right, true.
Back in May, and we were like, wait a second, we can't see this on the actual YouTube. Now, if it doesn't come through even on the all chat option, then that's strange. Then we're being censored. Tax per orgasm. Fight the gender pay gap with the orgasm gap.
I mean, I don't know
Tax
how much
per
you're gonna.
orgasm.
That's. I mean,
Wouldn't you have to like, because you want more female orgasms.
I mean, it will teach. I guess it will show men, like, how, like they're just seeing how much money women are getting, straight women. So
Tax the difference. The difference in so if there's 6. Well, the thing about guys, it's not like guys are out here having a million orgasms. The problem is they like have one and quit, right? So it's
yeah, you're out here acting as if women are having that too.
What you're saying? Like women are having they have one, it's like one quits. Y'all are just rolling over.
Well, you walked right into it. You look. Elle literally opened up the door and you walked right into it, not expecting the 5-gallon pan of bucket to smack you in your face. Classic Home Alone style. Classic. Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh, okay. My head hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, my head.
Look at this.
It's good.
Look at this nice because we already talked about how like there's so many options to talk about the future of, and so many of them play off of each other, and here we are talking about ish. We still haven't dived into it, but touching and teetering on the sex and how it plays into the economy, because it is the world's oldest profession after all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
text them in anyways.
As I was busy behind the scenes working and fighting and mentally giving social media and all its apps the middle finger and all this other good stuff, there was something that somebody touched on, and I think it might have been you, Toby. I'm not totally 100% sure, but as far as paying taxes go for DoorDash and ship, that's actually a legit thing. It's just you can do it in two different ways. You can either do the taxes yourself and then send it to the feds, or if you make $700 from January 1st to December 31st, if you make $700, then you have to pay taxes when you file your claim. And the only reason how I know that much is because this past tax season, I had that happen to me. Even though it wasn't a whole lot, but still, just to look and see, like, holy crap, I actually made over $700. I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. I'm just, out here doing what I got to do. But yeah, no, they was like, yep, nope, you got to pay your taxes. Like, okay, fine. But I'm mad at myself because I know how to calculate my taxes myself, and I know how to do all of that. It's just I took the lazy route. So note to self, for anybody who is becoming an entrepreneur, it pays to know how to calculate your own taxes. And even then, that goes back to the other conversation that you guys had as far as being entrepreneurs go. And again, me, I'm done. If y'all don't know what Chad is talking about, go back and watch last week's episode. That's what I'm gonna say. Go back and watch last week's episode. But the thing about being entrepreneurs, and again, me and the missus, we talked about this too as well. Even she would agree, like, not everybody mentally can handle the stress of being an entrepreneur. Not everybody can handle that. Not everybody can handle the everyday ins and outs of what it means to be an entrepreneur. Are there some days where you're going to make some money? Sure. Are there some days where you're not? Sure. But at the same time, it's knowing how you can put yourself in that position to be able to make money regardless of what happens. Yes. Not everybody has that mindset. Are there some people who have that mindset and choose to, go work their typical 9 to 5? Certainly, yes. But at the same time, it's like, if they actually wanted to, could they do it? Again, certainly, yes. Certainly, yes. But again, it is just being able to kind of have a good foundation and a good support group to help you, to push you along, because you're going to find times where you want to go back and do your typical 9 to 5, even though you hate the crappy work environment, you hate the boss, you probably hate the people that you work with, even though the pay may be good, but the simple fact of the matter of you really don't like having people telling you what to do and whatnot, and kind of micromanaging is like, got you, get it. But at the end of the day, I think for those who would like to venture off into being an entrepreneur, I say have fun, good luck, enjoy the journey, because it is one of those paths that's less taken. And especially if you don't necessarily already have like X amount of dollars saved up in your account, in your bank account, if you could get one, for that factor matter, to be able to do that eventually. So it's just, being sure and being sure really you count up the cost of what it takes for you to become an entrepreneur. Because some people they say, "Yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur," and the third. But when they actually they actually sit down and count the cost of what it's going to take for them to become an entrepreneur, they're like, "Nope, too much. Nope, I'm good. I'd rather go back and work at my crappy job and deal with that for like the rest of my life."
No, for sure. Because like they always say, I got tired of working the 9 to 5 job, and so I went and started my own, and now I work 24/7. It's kind of true, but
Yeah,
I guess when they say when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. That's like
exactly.
from what I hear, partly true, because it's still work. There's still going to be, shit that you do that you don't particularly like, or you're not too gung ho about doing. But I mean, that kind of goes with like literally everything. There's never, I don't know if there's like anyone who just does something and like they don't have to worry about a thing. Like I understand that there are people who probably have like butlers and maids and chefs and everything, but I'm sure there's still like shit that they have to deal with, and that's like a not a common, it's not a big amount of people. So like when you're starting something and doing things, like you still have to like, like when you move out of your parents' house, for example, let's say you had like just strict parents and you finally move out of your parents' house and you could do whatever you want, quote unquote. That still includes washing the dishes, sweeping the floor, doing laundry and like, like doing the garden or like still maintenance, and like you may not be too gung ho, but you still need to do the stuff to function, to like make sure that the house functions. So that still goes with like a job.
Exactly.
I remember, I think I was like watching something that Issa Rae said, or something that Issa Rae said, and she was saying how, like when she was especially like first starting out, it was like it was super small, like when she was like trying to hire people, she was pretty much like also trying to find people who it's like, hey, you got to be cool and open with, cleaning the microwave and, like doing, like doing things like that. Cause it's, like it's just us few people. And of course, like those are things that you don't really think about. Like I remember even at like my job, like when like I would like occasionally, oh man, Toby, I would occasionally, if I see like the paper towel roll done, I would just go change it because habit, like it, I don't, like it's sort of mean to just let the next person, like I see it, it needs to be done. Let me just go do it. And I know how to do it. It's not a difficult thing. And I don't want like the next person, like I don't want this to like last forever, because like it could if like people are just like, it's not my job, I don't want it. It's like, come on, it takes like 4 seconds like to do. But you kind of just need to like,
Right.
in order for things to just kind of continue to run and function normally, you kind of have to do things that are just like a little bit outside of your job description, just because that still helps with like the company to run. As small as you think it is, it really does matter. And like, yeah. So I guess like what I'm saying is like doing the hard shit shouldn't take away, not the hard shit, but like the annoying upkeep shit shouldn't really take away from the fact of, actually doing what you love and what you're passionate about. But I can totally understand and see how that could be a hindrance to actually starting to, starting your own company and things like that. Because, as you were saying, like there are going to be times when you don't know when when you're going to have your next paycheck, and it's not going to be like the same amount, so you can't really budget around that. You know, you might get $5,000 one month and then 500 the next month. Then you just have to like, you know, figure that out, and then you might have $0 for 3 months straight, and then fourth month you magically make 5,000 again. Like it's just very unpredictable, and it's scary and it's rocky. But you know, I guess what you were saying, like I guess like it's just not for everybody. If there was like a super safe way to like of course, like if I can transition from like, you know, my job to like my own company, and it would just be like a super smooth transition. You know, I just have healthcare benefits and consistent amount of money, and I am my own boss now. If I could just somehow transition to that, then sure, of course. I think most people would, but like that stability is what keeps people, you know, like what you were saying, around.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think like I always think it's crazy how literally every company that exists came from somebody's brain. Somebody actually took that jump and said, I'm going to start my own thing. And that's why like massive companies exist. Like even like the company that I work for, you know, like I got to meet the founder, and it was just like really cool, you know, because like he's just like this really cool down to earth guy, and but like, you know, he just decided to start it one day. Like when he told us like the company, the story, he's like, I'm just gonna try and do this, and it took a long time, but he became massively successful. One glorifies the millionaire, billionaire, entrepreneur, and then they skip over the 90-hour-a-week working entrepreneur who's making 20. Yeah, absolutely, Rocky. Absolutely. And
you know, this is such a real thing. Like Yang talked about this, where it's like real entrepreneurs don't think anything serious with Trump because he makes like he's a charlatan marketer. I mean, not saying that all billionaires are like this. Obviously, many people did start, like Jeff Bezos. There's a lot of people who actually did really work from their garage. Like, I don't know why the garage, but everyone likes to work from the garage. But then there's people who are like Trump, who were given everything and were just marketing charlatans. And then you have the actual entrepreneurs who are really busting their butt and sweating. Yeah, I know. I caught that too when she said it's a bit rocky. I immediately was like,
yeah, it's Rocky. Yeah. No, Jeff Bezos. So, because I believe he started out in Miami, or he's from Miami. Like I forgot. I think his mom had him when she was like really young, and then she ended up marrying like this guy with the last name Bezos, who's like Hispanic, and he had the idea for the company. I don't know how old he was, probably like in his 20s or something, and you know, like the whole .com boom was happening, so he jumped on that, and I think he was working out of like his parents' garage, or he had his own place, and I think his parents like helped fund him, because I think like his father and his stepdad was pretty much, his dad was pretty well off. I don't know how well off, but I don't think he was like super well off, but like he was doing pretty well for himself. I believe that's how the story goes, and he was able to like help fund, you know, Amazon. But there were times when Amazon was like hella rocky, and I'm saying rocky again, but it's like, you know, it was like on very like shaky grounds, and you know, like, yeah, and like every company goes through that, is the thing. But like, I think if you just sort of know that and accept that, I don't know, because you never know when the storm is going to pass. I remember watching a great video that explained in detail why there are no self-made billionaires and how the whole concept is disingenuous. For sure, true. That's absolutely true. Because They definitely need help from some sort. Like the poorest person who became a billionaire might have been Oprah.
Mm.
So I believe she came from like some like serious abject poverty. If I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
Maybe Jay-Z as well. Jay-Z definitely came from poverty.
Yeah, you came from the projects.
Yeah.
I don't know the background of like all of those kind of rappers / singers turned billionaires. Like I don't remember like Kanye. I mean, I don't know much about his background honestly. Same thing with Rihanna. Who are some new billionaires? Tyler Perry.
Oh, true. Yeah. I mean, I think Tyler Perry was homeless at one point.
He was homeless.
He was homeless. He was homeless.
Mm-hmm.
He was homeless. Like the first play that he did, he wrote that in his car.
Yeah.
Like he wrote that in his car, and he didn't even think that it would even sell. But because of the fact that it connected with a lot of the people in the audiences, and then of course with him being Medea and how Medea was relatable to a lot of the people in the audience as like their grandmother or somebody that was influential in the same, in that same arena. And so it just literally took off from there. And so each time he did a play, it got better and better and better and better to the point where now, you know, he's pretty much like giving anybody who had like a pretty jacked up past, he's making sure that they have a spot to shine and giving them a platform of their own to go ahead and just do big and great things. Even you're talking about Kanye. I mean, Kanye, he came from the west side of Chicago. And so it wasn't
South Side?
I thought it was West Side. I could have sworn it was West.
I know he has that song. It's like South Side, we gonna get this party off, right?
That's all falls down. That's from his first CD.
Right.
That's from his first CD. But if I remember this correctly, he grew up on the West Chicago. He grew up on the west side of Chicago, and a lot of his family were like super close, super close. And so they weren't necessarily poor, but at the same time, they weren't like, you know, made out of money. Like they actually had to grind to get to where they needed to get to. And so in one of his interviews, documentaries, he was talking about how he would be downstairs in his mom's basement, like making records, you know, and doing, you know, making records, doing beats. So pretty much he's producing his own music. And even still, like a lot of the tapes that he made and whatnot, they weren't necessarily like album quality good, but they were very much like mixtape quality good. And so even when he was going through his record deal and everything else, like of course Rockefeller wanted him, Capitol wanted him, and it was pretty much a back and forth thing. And so he had got the news that Capitol had pulled out. It was like, you know, we don't want to sign you because we don't think that, you know, you're good enough. Dame Dash turned around and said, well, you know, Rockefeller, you know, it's always here because we see what you can do. Like you've produced, I don't know how many instant classics on Jay-Z's records, on anybody that's underneath the Rockefeller record, like Rockefeller record label, like Cameron. I mean, he produced a couple of his CDs, a couple of his songs and albums.
I think
I'm trying to
Memphis
think
Bleak
who
too.
else. Memphis Bleak is another one. Beanie Siegel, State Property. Like the list goes on. Anybody who was on that Rockefeller record label, Kanye West, in somehow, some way, produced probably more than half of their songs.
Yes,
More than half. And so when it was his turn to actually like produce his own record, his first one, College Dropout, people were like, man, we don't know if it's going to sell. We think it's going to flop. But no, that was arguably, in my opinion, one of his best records that he made. And even then, when he turned around and did Late Registration, arguably, again, his best record that he made, hands down. And even with Graduation, that was still, again, arguably one of his best records that he's put out. Arguably one of his best records, I think. And again, my opinion. I think when he did Eight Heartbreaks, it wasn't as good as the first three, but it was still one of those classics where it's like everybody at least had to have it. If you didn't have to have it, you had to listen to at least the majority of songs that was on there, you know. And then after 808 and Heartbreaks, then it just kind of said, almost did a nosedive, but kind of corrected itself and stabilized for a little bit. Then it's just kind of like, yeah, you know, there she goes. Yeah. And again, you know, he had a very humble childhood, but even still, like he pretty much, he always said that, you know, because his mom always supported him, always pushed them, always was always there to pretty much like, you know, hey, you can do it, helping him get that encouragement, because there were times where he actually kind of felt discouraged, but she's like, no, you keep doing what you're doing and let everything else fall by the wayside. So it was pretty cool and neat to see him get to where he's at even now, you know. And one more thing, I know, Toby, I think you brought up trading, right? As far as like the one.
You said sorry, say that again. You said I brought up
trading, like
trading.
Trading,
yes.
Okay, so like me personally, I do dabble in that, and it is a skill that not everybody can acquire. It really is. And it takes a lot of patience, a lot of discipline. It takes being able to say, I don't know anything. I don't. And actually make sure that you don't get your feelings involved, because the moment you start getting your feelings involved, you're already going to be heading down the wrong path. Easy. Already. And so it's one of those things where, again, it's not for everybody. It's really not. But at the same time, because of the fact that you are able to trade currency, metals, stocks, this, that, and the third, you kind of do have a part to play in that, and you also have to be willing to study from people who are quite better than you and who's been doing it for a long time and are quite successful. And so it's one of those things where it's like, and again, you know, I've had my fair shares of some good days. I have my fair shares of some bad days and some very, very bad days. But the simple fact of the matter of I don't give up, and it's like, okay, I know what I need to do. I just have to apply myself to do it and make sure I stick with it. You know, That's all I have to do. And it got to the point where I actually, like, let's see, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, I made $9 off of a gold trade. You know, and it was pretty much kudos to me. And even then, you know, just analyzing the market, analyzing where it's going, where it's heading, and making sure that I had my points and my diagram on point to the point where I didn't lose anything. But if I wanted to possibly gain more, I do have that possibility of doing so. And so, you know, even then, you know, showed the miss, like, you know, yeah, this is the trade I did the other day. This is where I marked it off. This is where it's currently at right now. And this is where I made my $9 trade. And, you know, cool. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, like now, had I been awake long enough to watch that trade go only how it did, I probably would have stayed in a little bit longer and made more than that. But at the same time, my body says, nah, no, Ron, you need to go to sleep. You need to go to bed and try it again. I'm like, okay, cool, great, whatever. But again, like I said, it surprised me because with gold, it's very tricky. It does play around. It plays too much. It's like that one nephew, you tell them, stop picking on me. And he's like, nope, I'm going to keep picking on you because I can, because I want to. And there's nothing you can say and do about it. That's trading gold. So it does get a little annoying, but I'm going to say this and then I'll be done. I'll say this and I'll be done. But trading currency is slowly gaining popularity. Trading currency is slowly getting popular. And a lot more people are going towards trading currency versus the actual stocks. And so, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yes. Yes. And even again, the guy that's pretty much mentoring me, like, I don't know, 100 other people, he basically put it to us like this. He said, I've managed to pass 4 fully funded accounts, meaning that he talked to a company to give him X amount of dollars to use for trading. And the company had a time limit, time frame, and a time goal as far as how much he needs to make before that challenge is done. Ooh, bless you. And he's passed it 4 times. And again, these accounts, they're not like $50 accounts, they're not $100 accounts. No, these are like, you know, up there, like $50,000 accounts, $100,000 accounts, and he's been passing them for the last. He passed all 4 within the last past 2 years as of right now, and just recently he didn't pass one because his partner screwed him over. So that was the only reason why he didn't pass this previous one. But you know, he was saying that the expertise that he's gained over the years, he's more than willing to share it because he's like, he understands that it's not a get quick rich scheme, that no, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some patience. And even then, he said where he's at now, it literally took him 5 years to get to where he's at as of right now. And he's been trading the last past 10 years. And so he was like, you know, if you're willing to make that initial jump, you're willing to learn, if you're willing to be coachable, if you're willing to ask questions and understand what you need to do to become better, he's like, I'm all ears for you. And I will make sure you get the knowledge and the understanding that you need. He said, but, you know, like the old saying goes, closed mouths get fed, don't get fed, and closed hands don't get help.
True.
So if you're not putting yourself in that predicament to get help, to get fed, to get put on the next path where you need to go to, he's like, there's nothing much I can do for you. You're going to fail and fail and fail and fail and fail. In other words, you're going to blow your account. You're going to blow your account. You're going to blow your account. You're going to blow your account until you figure out, hey, I actually need help. I don't know what I'm doing. Please, can you help me? After I done blew like $5,000, 5 different times. So, help me out. And again, that and again, I know that part was an exaggeration, but there are people who have blown their accounts that total that dollar amount. So it's like, yeah, and even he himself, transparent as he is, he's like, yeah, there's been times I've blown accounts. He's like, I won't lie to you, I've blown accounts, and it sucked. He's like, but I learned from my mistakes to make sure that if anybody else is rocking in that same boat, I know how to help you to get out of that. So I'm done talking. That's my rant, and I'm gonna switch it up to somebody else.
Yeah,
True.
True.
No, that's not. It's not you. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Even with lottery, right? People talk about that. I do know one person, a friend of mine who I went to grad school with. She's a black engineer, civil engineer. Actually, same to the guest we had on at the end of last month. We went to the same school, so same organizations. And so she actually traded. Because I got to hang out with her for the first time in years last year, because she ended up moving to the DC area. So I saw her during the holidays, and she was talking about how like she actually did some trading, got some really successful trades, got out, and was able to basically buy a house. And I was like, whoa, like a house with multiple, like I'm sure not like fully in cash, right? But like she was able to at least get a house, and there were rooms that she was able to rent out. And then, so like there are people who are able to kind of make big wins and then invest it into something that will keep growing versus let's just blow it on whatever. Like for me, I will say the only thing I would want to blow it on, and that's not really blowing it, but a car, right? Because that's a depreciating asset, but it's a necessary asset. That's like my main thing. If I could strike it big, I would try to like pay down any debts and then like buy things that I can actually use. Like if I had $600,000, I mean, you could buy so many things. Like you could buy a house, like a lot of houses actually. Like straight out. So it's unfortunate like that there are some that they get these riches and they lose it either because they're in assets that aren't great, they're in ventures that are not gonna pan out, or they of course just like spend it on frivolous things, which is your right, of course. But we hope to have more literacy and education, especially for those of us who have not come from the money like that. So that way, when you get it, you don't lose it. That happens in athletics a lot, like with the NFL and these other leagues. Like you only have, like you basically get this money at once, or at least you get it over a period of time, where like you have to make it last a whole year, even though you really are only effectively, like I forget exactly how they explain it, but like you're I don't think like you get it during seasons, and then you have to make it last like outside of that. And so there are people who go broke very easily. So there's some like kind of older NFL players who probably have retired, especially like in the Black community, who have been trying to teach people how to like actual sort of ration and like like wisely spend money, because a lot of people just come into the money like this and they're not used to it. I think even in music, like that's like a big thing too, where it's like you might be spending all these bands and whatever, but there was I think it was actually Chloe Bailey who was talking about how like a lot of people are actually in debt, like when you're like part of a label or you're making the music, because you have to take out loans for so many things and you have to pay all these people. And so it's not like you're making bank from your stuff. You really only make money from the tours and maybe selling merch, but like you're not getting money from your streams, right? You have to go on tour, do concerts, but like the actual making of the music puts you in so much debt. And I would never have known. If I could find that interview, I saw clips of the interview. Chloe Bailey, I didn't really know much about her, but like just watching her, she's very. I didn't realize that she was from Disney. Her and Haley, Disney people, but like she's young, like she's probably 23 at oldest, and she's very, very, very smart. So that was definitely like interesting. But I think that there's a lot of people who run into those traps where you don't know, and so you kind of feel like you're gonna stun out, you're gonna have all this money, and then boom, you can lose it all or get into debt. The lifestyle doesn't match. Like the lifestyle that you're kind of pressured to have doesn't really match the reality.
No, for sure. Like a lot of sports players get into that situation.
Yes.
And, like, it's like, I will offer you, like, like a $10 million sign-on bonus. And, like, okay, that's great. So then it's like, all right, I got to buy my mom a house, got to buy my sister a house, my brother a house, my friends a house, myself a house. And it's like, all right, now you're like out of money. Because they just don't know, because at the time they're like 22, like they're just out of college, so like they're, like they're young and stupid as hell. And then, like another thing that they don't really talk about is honestly the women who trap them. That's another big, massive investment that they aren't really prepared to, for, because I can never forget this comment I read on Reddit like years ago, like when like these 22, 23-year-olds are finally like playing in the big leagues, and then like they stay at this hotel, and then the hotel, like if they're like in an away game, like the women at the hotel, that because like women hear word that these ball players are coming to spend the night at the hotel, so they go to the hotel. And these women are like, they're far more gorgeous than you can imagine. And like, they are kind of, I don't want to, like, they're professionals at this. So like, and it's not necessarily like, it's not like it's like prostitution or anything. It's just like, they're just out of the scale of 1 to 10, they're like a 50. Like it's just like, apparently it's just like ridiculous. And like these young men who got all this money in, like they saw like these college girls, which of course are really cute and pretty, but then they see like something that's just out of this world, especially if they went to school in like Kentucky or like Oregon or something. Not to shit on the states, but like, now like they're playing for the Miami Heat, and then they go down to Miami and then see like those women, or they play for like the Lakers and see those women, which are like apparently like insane. So yeah, and then they mess around. These women are once again professionals, so they get themselves pregnant. Even it's like, yeah, I used a condom, yeah, blah. No, doesn't matter. They still figured out a way.
Wow.
and yeah, like it's bad. It's a thing that I don't know how often it happens, but it does happen. Like I don't follow sports or like sports drama at all, but like it's definitely a thing that that is attempted. So, and then that there comes another financial responsibility, and what a lot of people don't really know is it's not like every ball player on the Miami Heat is racking in millions. It's only the ones that are like the starters, essentially, the ones who are most like sponsored, and definitely you guys correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure like the average ball player, if if he's just like on the team, like who's like on the bench somewhere, he's making he's making a good amount, but he's like, like nobody knows him. I don't know. I don't know how much, maybe like 200,000. Is that too much? Is that
yeah? No. It's funny you brought that up, El. And I promise you, I'll be done.
Yeah.
This was, let's see, 2005 was in high school, and we were in. It was me and a group of my friends. We were in Spanish class, and we were talking about basketball. And one of the players was playing for the Pistons, and for whatever reason, he decided that his contract wasn't enough. Mind you, he's not a superstar or anything else. He's riding the bench, but he felt as though his contract was not enough. So we got to talk about, well, how much is he making? You know, we did a little research and we found out this man was making like, you know, $300,000. You know, we're like, okay, like you're complaining that your contract is not enough, but you don't play. And when you do play, you play very sloppily. You don't make a whole lot of points. There's nothing spectacular about you except for your last name. Like, that's the only thing that's going for you. But even still, like, listen, even if I had half of your salary, I'll be riding that bench like, hey, yo, you better make that basket. You better make that free throw. Don't let these people foul you out. Like, come on, we're going to be your biggest cheerleaders. Like, tell me about it. Like, for real. You know? And it's like nowadays you have cats who are riding the bench. Easy. They're making $5 million. Easy. And they may not even be the most spectacular person on the court or on the team for the fact of the matter. But because of the fact that the franchise that they're playing for, they have that kind of money because of the fact a lot of people come to the venues, come to the sporting events, they buy this, they buy that, they buy this, they buy that. And so it's like, yeah, it's easy to pay, you know, some kid coming out of college, drafted in the 5th round, you know, the draft, and you say, hey, your contract is $5 million, you get that guaranteed. No matter what happens, you're guaranteed $5 million, and as a sign-on bonus, we'll even throw in, you know, $500 just for good measure. You know, it's like, oh, okay, this is the most money I've had in my everlasting life. The most I've probably seen at one time legally was maybe, you know, $2,000-$3,000 in my bank account. You know, but even then, it wasn't, to me, it was a lot, but it wasn't a whole lot because of A, B, C, and D. So you giving me $500,000 right out the gate, like I'm buying my mama house, like you were saying, buying my mama house, you know, my sister house, or I'm buying grandma house, and blah blah blah. And even then, it's like I'll go and get me the most expensive car that I could buy, because I already know I'm already guaranteed $5 million no matter what happens. You know, I'm gonna give me a rollie. Come on, I'm gonna get dripped down and all this other stuff. Like, I'm gonna just go and go crazy and splurge. And by the time, you know, their contract ends, they're guaranteed their $5 million. They're probably up to debt by like half of that. And even then, we're not talking about injuries. We're not talking about if they've actually improved over the season. We're not even going to talk about that to see if they get paid even more. Or if not, they get paid even less. So it's like you live in this high baller lifestyle, but at the same time, you probably have high baller debt that you probably cannot pay by the time you get out the league. Right. You say, "Yay, I'm going to the league." You get out the league like, I'm broke. Like, how, sir? Well, hold on. We know how. We know how you got broke. You were just being stupid with your money. But
right,
you know.
No. And Rocky, it is. I think it is. You're right. It's definitely the NFL I'm thinking about, because, like, I went to. I mean, I went to Florida State. It's a big sports school, but like football is like their god. And like there were, of course, like a lot of people on the football team, but of course there were like the main people on the football team. Like, so it'd always be kind of funny when like a guy would be like, hey, you know, try to flirt and be like, hey, yeah, I'm on the football team. It's like, oh yeah, that's cool. I didn't give a shit because I knew that like there's a lot of people on the football. I was like, I understand it's a big deal, but it's not like you were recruited. You were a walk on. You walked on. Like, still impressive because it's not easy to get onto the football team, but you weren't, you weren't recruited. you but not to like shit on anyone who was on a football team at a D1 school. Just I highly doubt you're playing football professionally now, though. So my kid is playing baseball for sure. To not play on there, that's true. But
baseball.
Yeah, guys, I think it's unfortunately time to wrap up the stream.
20.
Yes.
Yeah. 2 hours and 20 minutes. We'll hit the 2:22 mark soon enough. By the time we start wrapping up, aka start leaving, like the way Black and African and Caribbean and a lot of immigrant populations do. By the time we finish wrapping up, I should say in this case, it'll be 2:20.
I mean, let's see if we can get all the twos. It'll
be very difficult though to get the exact
delay
in the broadcast, but it's okay. We'll do it.
Yeah, well, I'll see. Okay, we got like a minute.
Yeah, it's just a minute. We got this.
That's kind of cool.
Oh, we really doing this? Okay, come on.
Yeah,
we really doing this.
So a nice smooth transition.
Yes.
The Discord, keep up this conversation because we're going to be talking about money and economics forever and how it's going to evolve. Shoot, maybe if we all could go to the league, we could have these problems.
Yeah. Right.
If we could have gone to the league and then only we could figure out how to manage these monies. But for us regular folk, we probably don't have to deal with these huge lump sums. Same thing with music. If only I went to the league for playing the violin, but
the Bio League.
The Bio League.
Yes, the Bio League.
Thank you, Chad.
No, we're about to sign off.
We're gonna sign off. We love you all. Oh shoot.
No, but it's true though.